Covering South Bend, Elkhart, and all of Michiana. This is ABC 57 News at 5.
Today you can meet the candidates vying for a position on the Benton Harbor School Board. We'll tell you where. And let the countdown begin. We're only 5 days away from the big election. This morning the president returns to the campaign trail with the race still in a dead heat. Plus, preps are underway for the biggest night in country music. What you can expect at the CMAs tonight. In just 5 days, on November 6th, Hoosiers will choose the next governor of Indiana and the president of the United States. The latest poll numbers are in, and ABC 57's Eric Seltzer is standing by live outside of the County City building. He has a quick breakdown for us. So, Eric, how are things looking?
Hey, Keitha. Well, I was checking those poll numbers, like you said, overnight, and right now it looks like Republican Mike Pence is leading in the polls over Democrat John Gregg by about 13 points or so in that gubernatorial race. Now, there are several other contested races that are very important to Hoosier voters going out this year, one of them being the Senate race. That's between Richard Murdoch and Joe Donnelly. Now, in that race for the Senate, it looks like right now it's a very close race. The Rasmussen poll shows Murdoch up by about a 5-point spread, and the Howie DePaul poll has Donnelly up by just 2 points. Now, many critics are saying that Murdoch's comments suggesting that a child born of rape was God's will could have caused some voters to change their minds. And then over on the national front, the latest Indiana poll by Rasmussen has Mitt Romney up by 13 points, and he's also up by 12 points in the most recent Howie DePaul poll. Just want to reiterate that that's the poll for the state of Indiana. Now, if you do plan to vote this year, you must also be registered to vote or have conducted an early voting ballot. Now, if you are early voting, it's going to be right over here at the County City building if you're from South Bend. Otherwise, you're going to have to check your city's webpage to see where you can come and early vote this year if you're not going to make Election Day. I'll have more information on early voting coming up later in our morning newscast. Reporting live in South Bend, Eric Stelter, ABC 57 News.
And developing, although Superstorm Sandy shut down federal offices for 2 days, the Labor Department says it still plans on getting the October jobs report out Friday as planned. This report could be crucial to the election. It's the last look at the health of the country's jobs market before all voters go to the polls. The jobs report has only been delayed once, and that was in January of 1996. That was because of a government shutdown over the budget deadlock. As of last month, the national unemployment rate is at 7.8%. Now to an update on the nationwide meningitis outbreak. Overnight, the death toll climbed to 29. The Centers for Disease Control reports the latest fatalities is out of Virginia. There are now 377 cases reported across 19 states. Ameridose LLC, the sister company to the pharmacy whose drugs have been tied to hundreds of fungal infections, said it would also voluntarily recall all of its products. High waves continue to pound the shore of Lake Michigan. Wednesday, people were cautioned to stay away from the lakeshore. But for the Coast Guard in St. Joseph, conditions were perfect to do some training and show just how dangerous the lake is right now. ABC 57's Tony Spahar met up with the crew as they took a trip out onto the water. At least 3 people were shot overnight after a fight broke out in a crowd of Halloween revelers in Hollywood. A riot police officers on motorcycle and on horseback cleared the streets. At least 3 people were handcuffed. Authorities say the suspect is still on the loose this morning. At this time, there's no word on the victim's injuries. You've got to see this video out of Arizona. This is no way to cross the border. My goodness. The U.S. Border Patrol says this attempt to illegally cross into Arizona was an epic fail. Suspected smugglers tried to drive this Jeep over a 14-foot high border fence using a makeshift ramp. Patrolling agents saw it in progress. They say the Jeep got stuck and the suspects ran back into Mexico. Agents have seized the Jeep and that ramp. We're only hours away from country music's biggest night. In just 2 minutes, we'll have a preview to the 46th annual CMA Awards. Plus, you store your head back laughing like a little kid. Taylor Swift makes music history. Find out why she's in the spotlight this time around.
You're watching ABC 57 News in high definition with Keitha Nelson and First Warning neighborhood weather meteorologist Tom Coombs. Good morning, Michiana.
When I miss my Tennessee home.
Preps are underway for the 46th annual CMA Awards. It'll broadcast live from Nashville at 8 tonight right here on ABC. The CMA Awards is one of the most highly anticipated events for the country music industry each year. It's a night to honor the finest performers, songwriters, record producers, musicians, and music video directors. Meanwhile, it looks like one of country's biggest stars has another hit record on her hands. Okay, Taylor Swift's new album, Red, debuted at the top of the Billboard charts with 1.2 million records sold. This ranks as the highest weekly sales number in more than a decade. It also marks the second biggest sales week ever for a female artist. Swift now has the best one-week sales total for any country released in history. Now, I do have to admit, I'm not exactly a Taylor fan, but her songs, like that one, is so catchy. It's going to stick in my head all morning.
I thought you were live in studio this morning. I had to do a double take for a second. I thought I was hearing Taylor Swift singing. Wow.
Tom, leave me alone. Let's talk about the weather. We're only days away from some fighting Irish football action, and if you haven't picked up those tickets yet, you're in luck, where you can score some seats. Plus, so would you dish out $250 for a CD? Well, we'll have details on the pricey album that will have you talking. We're back now at 5:52 and new this morning. So just how dedicated are Rihanna fans? Well, we'll soon find out. A limited edition of her latest album costs $250. The new CD, titled Unapologetic, comes in a Diamonds Executive Platinum box. It includes a 40-page custom notebook from the singer with lyrics and notes, and a handwritten note to fans, a t-shirt, USB drive, and 3D images of Rihanna, along with a few other items. There's also a Diamonds Deluxe Edition box with less goodies, and that costs $75. The album will be released November 19th. But I've got to chuckle about this one. I'm a Rihanna fan, but not that big of a fan. $250.
And some of those fans may not even have a CD player to actually play the CD.
That's true nowadays.
They just have an MP3 player, so I guess you just mount this shiny disc somewhere.
A t-shirt, a notebook, all that good stuff.
The note might be a little interesting, but I have a feeling it may be the same note for everybody. So is it really that?
Yeah. You know, as much as we're making fun of it, we're a little bit older, but I do have cousins who I believe would really want that, and it's probably going to be on their Christmas list. Here we go.
It comes to that, I'm going to come out with my own CD, maybe make a little money.
Okay, Tom.
We'll see what happens.